Bruh. My ulcers have ulcers.
So, I don't know if you realize this, but I've decided this is what we're doing this week.
What?
There's no music.
There's no music. We're just cold open.
Cold.
Damn.
You know why?
Why is it so frosty?
Because I'm enjoying this delicious Blue Coat gin and tonic with mint, lemon, a splash of lime juice, and a little bit of simple syrup.
That's a little bit more than your average gin and tonic.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like a gin and tonic with the works.
It's a Tom tonic.
It's a
whatever.
It's a Tom colonic. That's because it
It's
makes
it's a Tom Collin Kaepernick.
Should we take a knee?
I feel like we should, especially on this November 3rd / 4th, 2020. It's election night, and of course, when you listen to this,
Election night. Dun 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 dun
dun dun dun. The reason why I went without any music is because it's serious. It's serious.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you speak up? Can you talk into your microphone?
It's serious.
Oh shit! This looks serious.
Oh boy. Yeah.
What did you sit on the remote now? We're watching the results show.
We're watching
live.
a results show.
The results show.
Of course, because CNN is the only news that matters.
We're watching American Idol results show.
And of course, oh, what the?
What'd you do?
Can't hear myself. Yeah, I'm treating this. Hold on. This is pro. This is how you do it.
Oh, I hear you now.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. Get to nobody.
And so the reason why I'm fudging like this, I'm gonna play it like it's live.
Fuck it.
It's not
Sorry.
Jesus.
I peeked a little bit.
It's not live, but I'm pretending like it's live. There's a reason for this.
Why? Explain.
It's easy.
Explain your reasoning.
Because tonight's a very difficult night for a lot of people. So I figured if we get drunk, we'd have fun. You could hit the mic.
Yo, let me spit a couple bars. Huh?
That's the food.
That's the food we ordered?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. I'm gonna leave this in here. I'm just gonna pause it.
Do it live.
Because fucking life is hard. I wonder.
And things happen in real life. And sometimes we just don't have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to catch it.
How you feeling, Chandler? You know how I'm feeling? How you feeling, Chandler?
I was about
Do you know how I'm feeling?
How are you feeling?
Well, I'm glad since you asked.
Since I broached the subject.
Yeah, speak real loud into the mic. How do I feel? I feel like this is crazy. I don't know. We're living in a crazy alternate, the worst universe type thing ever going on. So I just thought, fuck it.
You seem to be bouncing between dimensions right now, but like one dimension is where everything's okay and nothing really matters, and the other dimension is like this is the only thing that matters.
Because in a weird way, it doesn't matter. It's like it's like what's that thing called? It's like when white people wear dreads, like have dreads. Like that doesn't matter. You know, like it matters now a little bit to me. I'm like, oh, but like in the long run, it doesn't matter. We're participating in something. We're witnessing something that we might not even affect us today or tomorrow. But in a few years, we're definitely going to be kind of living, the fallout from this. So what's that thing? That's the United States election. And I try to produce some high quality fucking content. But I cannot be asked. Just like the American people couldn't have been arsed to do their due diligence in 2016. So, fuck you. This is what you get. And I think that's funny. Because ain't nothing else fucking funny about it.
So you're saying because we fucked up 4 years ago, we, the two of us,
yes,
are gonna put on a amateurish, but intendedly so.
Of course, it's still going to be good.
Sure, yeah. Well, naturally.
Of course. We're amazing.
We're gifted personalities and talented orators. I think there's only one direction this can go, but
which is up.
It's up. Where were you 4 years ago?
I was with my ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Not on this day, because on this day, I always do this thing that I hope the New York State Board of Elections doesn't hear this, but I'm magically never in New York City when it's time to vote, so they have to send me an absentee ballot. But I sit in my apartment and I fill it out.
Dun, dun, dun,
so I don't know where I was, but I know where I was when the news happened that Trump got elected. And honestly, it went with a bang and a whimper to me, because I was with my ex-girlfriend. We were in Queens, and I was like, whatever you want. I actually forgot I forgot like the election had happened. I was like, whatever's going on. I was like, oh yeah, look, Clinton's gonna win. What do you want? You want something? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you want, sweetheart. Whatever you want. You want Dollar's barbecue?
You can have whatever you like.
Want some Dollar's barbecue? She's like, I guess, sure. I was like, whatever you want. Then as we're in there, it's like, Trump is projected to win. Fuck. And I was like, that's not real. Whatever. And then, as I was walking out, it's my mother's birthday, by the way, this happened. Because her birthday's in 5 days. So I'm walking out, and I had dropped my ex off, and I get a text message. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump is the president.
Who texted you?
With my ex, because I had left her at home with her food. Because, I had dropped her off. I saw it. It said that he was going to win, but it projected.
Right. Everyone projects.
Yeah. So then I get down. Oh, yeah. Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Over town. You know what happened?
What happened?
Trump is the president. And I didn't fucking believe it. I was not upset. I was aghast, but not for the reason other people were. I wasn't up in arms at this man who grabs women by the pussy. I wasn't upset at that. I just couldn't believe that Donald Trump was the president.
Ooh, I can't believe it.
Of the United States.
So what were your emotions?
I didn't give a shit.
You didn't give a shit. You were just like, damn.
Why would I give a shit? What's he gonna do to me?
I mean, at 4 years ago, you'd have thought that, like, all right, Donald Trump as president, what's the worst he could do in 4 years? And honestly, that was kind of the mentality up until 3.5 years ago.
I disagree, actually. I think that was it until about a year ago.
A year.
When he assassinated one of the generals of Iran. Remember that when they did that?
Yeah.
Because before that, I would say that Trump at most was ineffective. It was years of gonna build the wall, and the wall is not being built.
Of ineffectivity and just being a public embarrassment,
yes.
But not necessarily being an actual detriment.
I mean, there are detrimental things about that, of course.
Yeah, and unless you ask anyone who's part of the Dreamers program or like all of that.
To be fair, technically he wasn't. He was trying to get the Dreamers to be, but he wasn't able to get them, kicked out of this country. He wasn't able to get that to happen. So he spent months and months trying to do that.
Right, but he certainly went through enough hoops to try to make them as uncomfortable as possible.
Of course, but unfortunately for how the country is run, the deportation, the ICE raids, none of that is new. A lot of that was happening during Obama.
Yeah.
So
he just made it hot.
Now, that's not to say that makes him any better. The fucking truth about this I'm not angry.
You ain't angry.
I'm not angry. I'm just sipping my...
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, fuck that guy. But the reality is that when he killed Soleimani, that kind of showed the world that not only was he some kind of clown, but he's a clown with power.
Now, okay, so you say the assassination of Soleimani. Did he... I'm curious. Are you saying like he called the hit? Or he
100%.
He was
completely advised against it.
Soleimani being the
one of the
journalists in...
No, that's Khashoggi. Soleimani was a general who technically is a war criminal from Iran.
In Iran. Okay, yeah.
So the thing about that is
I was thinking of the Saudi journalist.
Obviously a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
But there are political loopholes and things that you have to jump through globally because Iran is technically not really our enemy,
Yeah. They're technically like our sister.
And there's also lots of people brother. There who were very innocent.
Yeah.
And it's a very complex situation. And things have started to improve a little bit. So that's what that guy fucking did. But what I really want to hear is how you, a white man, how Trump has affected you.
How Trump has affected me? I internalize so much shame. Like, aside from like tax policy, it hasn't really directly affected me, but everything he does, people attribute to like my people. You know?
I don't know. Fucking tell me.
It's weird. It's like, so, like, you could have your arbitrary like serial killers who happen to be white people, and they're like, oh, they're crazy ass white people, but a fucking sociopath in power, and people are like, oh, well, all the white people who let him get there, are fucking crazy. And I tried. I tried to not let him get there, but I'm still lumped in with those like straight white males who are like, that's his base.
I mean, where you come from? Here's a question. Ooh, spicy question.
Hit me. What do you?
No, see,
ask me about where I come from.
I feel so fucking bad because I don't want to think all white people who aren't from New York are fucking racist. And that's terrible. We talk about that all the fucking time. And I spent months.
I mean, even white people from New York are racist, just so you know. Of
course. And of course, what did I do? I spent months doing what? On this podcast, like, man, you should vote third party if you like. And I don't think that's a wrong opinion, but, like.
But you definitely sprained your wrist jerking yourself off a little bit there.
I mean, I'm not fucking wrong. I'm not wrong. There's nothing wrong with voting third party. And if anything,
there's nothing wrong with voting for third party.
If people think that the third party is the person that represents their values, they should fucking do that. They should do that.
But where's your exception leading to?
When the time came, hit the mic. When the time came, I voted for Biden and Kamala Harris. And I didn't do it with glee, but I didn't really feel as bad about it as I thought I would.
Yeah.
And I probably should have felt worse. Why should I have felt worse? Why? I said, look in your face.
I see, yeah.
Because what Biden and Kamala Harris represent is a twisted system. But they're not villains. You see, the DNC and, oh God, the MSM.
As in the NBC?
The MSM. The mainstream media. They're kind of the villains. But that doesn't take away from the fact that even though I'm not a huge fan of Kamala Harris, she's an impassioned woman of color who, when I listen to her, I kind of feel the feels a little bit.
You get them soft tinglies.
Doesn't change the fact that when Joe Biden speaks, I'm very aware of his cognitive decline and the fact that he's just so lame and boring, and I wouldn't really trust him to run a country, but I guess that's what Kamala Harris is there for.
Well, that's the thing. You're either voting for Donald Trump and everything he represents and everything his people represent, or you vote for Joe Biden's cabinet.
I think that what it's really turned into is you're either, and this is what I hate about this ideological thing, this teams thing. And I want to be funny, but it's hard, because it's like,
just be funny. Just make me laugh.
You make me laugh, clown.
Hey,
you got a fucking joke?
I'm trying to think of something
because
with, like,
there aren't any
pachyderm,
fucking jokes.
but, like, no, there aren't. This shit ain't a joke.
This is why
These are the streets.
I think that, like,
Real shit.
There's like a this is real trap shit. Can you do it? I can't do it.
Real trap shit. Trapaholics.
There's like a fucking gray line about between being funny and being real, and I think one of the keys to being funny is to letting people know who you are, the context of who you are as a person, right? So I feel like by doing things like this, where we express ourselves, when we do things that are funny, it will allow people to kind of understand who we are, and then they'll have context so they'll think we're funny. But in that means we have to express ourselves, and unfortunately, I didn't realize how disturbed I was by having fucking the guy from The Apprentice as the president, because I didn't hate the show, and I didn't hate Donald Trump before he was the president of the United States. But it's an absolute fucking farce that he's the president.
Well,
he's an absolute fucking joke.
That's because you didn't stick through Celebrity Apprentice.
I mean, of course I know everything about it because I listened to Penn Jillette's podcast, Penn Sunday School, where of course he was on Celebrity Apprentice 2 times.
Wait, Penn Jillette or our president Donald?
Penn Jillette. He was on there twice.
Okay. He was on there twice.
Oh, he was so great, yeah. Of course, the only reason he didn't win was because he told Donald Trump that his hair looked like cotton candy made of piss. Donald Trump didn't like that.
Oh, wait. Donnie Boy's sensitive about his hair?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed.
So we're sitting here and I'm looking at fucking CNN. We're seeing a electoral map that, by the way, is a projection. However, CNN is doing the due diligence this year, so I'll say that the number of 205 electoral votes for Biden and the 132 electoral votes for Trump most likely is 100% accurate because they're taking their time. Most likely is
100% accurate. Damn, you are giving yourself no wiggle room. You can at least say it's like, I don't know, I'd say it's 80% accurate.
Because this right here is still very early and there's still a lot to go. And MSNBC, I saw, has significantly different numbers because CNN is taking their time. In any state that seems anywhere too close to call, or
they're not calling until it's ready to call.
They're not calling it. That being said, just like in 2016, actually, if Trump had just given up on the election night, he wouldn't be president. But he didn't cause an issue. He just stuck through and really waited for everything to get tallied. And that's how he pulled ahead. That's just how our system works. But as I look at this number here,
the system's broken.
And I see 205 versus 132, I realize this is fucking nonsense. And by this time next week, the next president is going to continue to be Donald Trump. And unfortunately, that means both very little and a lot. Because very little is going to change between now and 4 years from now. But also it means a lot for the quality of the people in this country. It says a fucking lot about the people in this country that people who vote for him don't see him for the criminal, the crook, the fucking joke that he is. And I don't like to be the person who I fucking is so low. It's not even funny. How do you make fun of Donald Trump? Like, you can't even make fucking fun of him. It's so unfun to make fun of him.
He killed political humor, and that's honestly my biggest gripe. That's how Donald Trump has affected me the most.
But don't lie. The primaries, A+. Saturday Night Live they were, why it was so good this year, I think? They were invigorated. They had something fun to make fun of.
They did. Like, the past 4 years of just doing random Trump shtick is just fucking, it's dead.
Alec Baldwin, turned myself way too down. Alec Baldwin, fuck yeah, he did a great fucking job at first. It's like, wow, you were like, man, he does a decent Donald Trump for like a month.
And then after that, you're like...
3 3/4 years later.
I like... Well, I mean, it kind of gets to a point where you're like, all right, both Donald Trump and Alec Baldwin are kind of assholes, and I don't want to see them every Saturday. Alec Baldwin, still funny. He's a funnier asshole than Donald Trump. I'll give him that credit. But really, I think the shining star should go to Maya Rudolph.
Oh,
in this whole thing, she's won the most. Look,
why do you think? Oh, I mean, I have an opinion, but I'm curious as to what you think. Why do you think Maya Rudolph has succeeded so much?
Well, one, Maya Rudolph is just a great fucking person in general. Like I have yet to see her do wrong, and in a character or in a joke. But she nails Kamala Harris's mannerisms so great that it's like, boom, instant points. But also, she's setting herself up, not Maya, but maybe. I think it might even be a tag team between Maya and Kamala.
Maybe a little bit.
To set themselves up for 2024. Like, this is all a ploy for Maya Rudolph to be the star of Saturday Night Live 4 years from now.
Well, don't forget also...
For the next 4 years. And for 8 years after that.
Don't forget also that for the debates, they also had Maya Rudolph playing the moderator.
Did she?
Yeah, she played the moderator from, was it MSNBC? The one that Trump was attacking and was like calling her like all kinds of derogatory things.
Nasty woman.
You know, I think that like Maya Rudolph has really kind of stood out. Also, oh, I feel so bad. What's his name? Something Yang. The one who played Andrew Yang.
Oh, uh-huh.
Oh, what the fuck is his name?
Bolin
Yang. That's his name, Bolin Yang. Fucking did a great job.
Yang Gang.
Yo, he did such a good job. And then, of course, Jim Carrey as Joe Biden.
I like Jim Carrey.
I think his Joe Biden's a little weak, though.
His Joe Biden's
It's weird. It's like they pulled him in because he's Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. They didn't pull... You know what the problem, I think, with that is that they pulled him in because he's Jim Carrey. They didn't pull him in because he had a take on Joe Biden. They didn't pull him in because he was so enthused about playing Joe Biden.
Here's the issue.
Oh, fuck yeah. I see the look of your fucking face. I'm ready for it.
Here's what's happening. They brought in Jim Carrey to play the character of Joe Biden. But Joe Biden isn't that compelling of a character. Like that he's our bland tap water when you go out to eat and you don't know what to order on the menu, and so instead you're just like, I'll have a water. That's Joe Biden.
I'm gonna be honest, I really think, and I feel so bad, the most compelling character, well, I'm taking video so that I could post this online, and it turned out terribly. The most compelling character for Saturday Night Live should literally be Joe Biden falling asleep at all times. But they won't do that because that's an attack that Donald Trump uses. But tell me it would be funny to have a narcoleptic Joe Biden skit.
That would be funny as fuck. Oh my
fucking god, he's like at a restaurant and he's just like falling. Yeah. Oh my god, it would be funny. See, the problem is that like, they can't make fun of the way he speaks. They can't make fun of his cognitive decline. And when you do that, that's fucking weak comedy.
Yeah. Well, okay. Why can't they do it?
Because it's politically incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're on national television, even if it's a little late at night, and the advertisers won't like it, and so they won't get money. You know, because Lorne Michaels will have a fucking heart attack. I don't fucking know, but like...
Is that the reason they can't put that joke? Or is it...
Also because I think that a lot of the people who work on the show and who are members of the cast probably support the Democratic ticket, and they don't want to do anything to harm the way Joe Biden is represented. They're I don't think they mean to, but they're trying to fucking be funny. But they don't want to, they don't want to support Trump. They don't want to bolster or give him an echo chamber or give him any, like, what they call a signal boost. They don't want to fucking signal boost him, But that fucking ruins the entire point of fucking political comedy. Political comedy is really fucking nonpartisan.
So, Trump, just by virtue of maybe potentially getting a boost out of making fun of an opponent candidate, is enough to kill political comedy. Trump killed political comedy, and I'm fucking furious.
He really did kill political comedy.
Like, how are we supposed to satirize something that is so absurd? something that consistently pumps out absurdity to the point where satire isn't relevant. Like that. That's my big.
Well, you don't have to. But it's very difficult to say. Well, it's also can be to be fair.
To be fair,
satirizing Biden is kind of the same issue because satirizing Trump is not fun because what is there to satirize?
Everything.
No, but not really. He makes it's. Remember, we had this conversation months ago on the podcast. It's all about low hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
Look at this.
All of his fruit is low hanging.
All of it's low hanging, and the same thing a little bit with Biden. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna make fun of his stutter? Honestly, that's actually probably not the funny part. You don't make fun of it. You don't make fun of him making misspeaking because they say he has a stutter. And you don't want to make fun of like any kind of cognitive decline because that's not funny. Sleepy Joe would be the zinger. If you were writing for Saturday Night Live, you'd come around to Sleepy Joe. It'd probably be like a narcoleptic thing where he's falling asleep on the podium.
Sleepy Joe is hilarious.
Sleepy Joe is hilarious.
I'm surprised his campaign didn't pick it up as their like.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
The sleeper.
Him on a fucking podcast. And he's like, and now we have an advertiser. It's Purple, the bed company.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. I can see, there's a lot of funniness behind that. But you don't want to because also there's not really, he's boring and bland. It's not really fun. Oh boy, what are you going to do? You know what? Have him on the show.
Have him on this show?
No, I wish.
Let's get him.
Okay,
do it, Jamie. Call, bud.
If you think about it, if you were to take someone and put them on a show and you couldn't tell they're being satirized, then you can't really do it. Donald Trump is such a character. If you put him on Saturday Night Live, you can't even make fun of him.
His existence
because
is the joke.
It's the way that he acts, the way that he behaves, which might just be a brand. Maybe he goes home and he's peaceful and stuff like that. But he's been on TV for so long. He's worked in those circles for so long that it's probably become kind of second nature. Joe Biden is either so boring that you can't make fun of him, or the things that you make fun of him for are just not really that interesting to make fun of. Like, what is he? What are you gonna do? Be like, fuck, dude. Oh boy! In the early '90s, you passed some legislation that incarcerated lots of black people. Let's make a joke about that. Like, what the fuck? He's not.
That was just the style in the early '90s. Look at Bloomberg. That's just how it goes.
And by the way, Maya Rudolph, gotta be honest, she does a really good job of kind of like satirizing, Kamala Harris. But in reality, does she really? Because she doesn't really do anything. She's just Kamala Harris. She's Kamala Harris turned up 2 notches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can't turn her up too much because it'd be probably a little racist. Because
I want to see what you look like doing Maya Rudolph doing Kamala Harris. 2 extra notches.
Trump? I'm going to tell you what. You know what, Trump? I'm going to tell you something as a black woman. Partially indigenous. I'm going to tell you what, Trump. Mm-hmm. It's like, you racist.
Preach.
I was watching the interview on 2020. Like, they did an interview. By the way, I love this. We didn't get to see the whole interview with Donald Trump because they say he stormed out. He did kind of get up and walk out. He was trying to be dramatic. I don't think he was angry. He was just being dramatic.
But, sorry, isn't half the point of a temper tantrum the drama?
Yeah.
It's not the temper?
2020, he didn't need to do that. 2020 is actually pretty awesome. Joe Biden's, which they always do this every single election, they did Joe Biden's. If Joe Biden said something that was not completely correct, they immediately cut away. They immediately did like a fact check. They were like, well, actually, this is incorrect. Or he said something. He was like, yeah, I think that giving health care to everyone is going to cost about $115 billion. And actually, then they cut away and they said, the numbers didn't seem to add up there. So we spoke to Joe Biden's team and they said that the vice president misspoke. That's actually twice that amount because 2020 is awesome and they do a really good job at that. And my favorite thing
2020,
is...
the show, not the year that we're currently
Oh, no, they do... 2020, the year, does a very bad job.
Okay.
So they cut to Kamala Harris, and they go, I love it. This is why Trump had an issue. They ask hard questions. But not too hard. But but they don't fuck around. They're not like, oh, well, what do you think about the Lakers winning, Mr. President? They ask questions.
Well, it's going to be tough without Kobe.
Fuck, that was before COVID. That was literally the week of. That's like the week that COVID really became mainstream news. So check this out, right? So they go to Kamala Harris and they go, hey, they go, so you think the president's racist? She goes, yes, I do. I love it. It was the greatest thing ever. She's like, do you think the president is like, do you think?
Hell fucking yeah.
She's like, that nigga racist. And I'm like, she didn't say that. I'm sorry, but I really just love, literally, you're like, do you think the president? She was like, literally, all the other questions they asked her, and they were like, so what do you say to people that think that, you as a prosecutor, that you made some very difficult choices, that you as a woman, it's like, well, being a prosecutor is difficult, and making difficult decisions is part of the job. Do you think Donald Trump was racist? That nigga racist. There was no second, there was no break.
Shit, like, I think he's racist?
Show
me evidence he's not racist.
And I kind of love that about her. I kind of do like how I was watching a thing about her earlier, and she was out there, she's speaking so passionately. And a lot of the issues with the problem with her being a prosecutor, is a difficult fucking job.
It is.
And it's easy to critique people who are prosecutors because they have to do and work with very difficult things.
And because, fuck the law.
Fuck the police.
Fuck them.
Coming straight out the underground. One of the things, no joke, about her is that she had some cases that she, remember being the state prosecutor, being the head of Justice Department means that she actually California, had hands, the second largest to the United States Justice Department. So she had a lot of influence. She did a lot. She tried to prosecute a lot of cases about free speech. She was, and that's one of the big things people have a problem with her. And that is definitely an issue that I have with her. And that's one of the things that I think that is a big, big problem. That I mean, is that so you have this person and she doesn't completely reflect my values, but she is a strong Black woman. She is intelligent. She's educated. She's successful. She is a great candidate for president. She might not have been exactly my candidate, but I would have voted for her in a fucking second. Because even though I'm not a huge fan of her, and people say the stuff like, oh man, because she's a woman. I'm going to tell you something. I'll fucking vote for her.
Because she's a woman?
No. I was going to say despite the fact. No. The fact that she's a woman aside, I would have voted for her with love and passion and with the quickness.
The swiftness.
Because even though I didn't completely like her, she is, I think, a person of character. I think she is a person of character.
She is.
I just don't completely like some of her history and stuff like that. And when I spoke to people about Joe Biden, I think people looked at me like I was crazy. But there's a whole, they're not even that far apart. But she's such a person of character, and he also, I think, is. But he's also a 70-year-old white man who, yeah.
Just by principle, it would make sense to not trust.
The reason why Bernie is not that is because he's Jewish. 100% that's the reason.
You could taste it
on
his voice.
He's a Jewish man, and they went through a lot of shit. You know what I mean? He might not exactly understand, but he has experienced systemic racism. He's experienced income inequality in America. It's not the same as slavery in America in the United States, but the history and the trauma, he understands. Joe Biden can be a moral, upright person who has tried his best, and I believe he has. But he doesn't get it the same way.
No, I like to think I get it, but even I don't get it.
You get it. To be fair, you probably will get it more than some other people, but you don't.
I don't.
But even I don't, and I live it. Because...
Who does?
No one.
Who would get it?
No one. Because even people who live and they're suffering and shit like that, they don't understand the trauma that they're going through. It's just different types of not getting it. You know what I mean? So,
degrees of separation from your trauma allow you to take that kind of third
Even
party
Kamala
seat.
Harris, you see, I saw her on CNN and I was like, oh shit, I mean, it's not important, but she's lighter than I thought, complexion-wise. That has an effect, because colorism is real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So because she's a little bit lighter, because she's much lighter than me, that might have had some effect on when she speaks to different people of culture. People who look like her might treat her different because she has lighter skin, but also she's a woman. So like, it's like pluses and minuses. You know what I mean? She's a woman, so for a lot of people, that's like 15 minuses. You know what I mean?
But also for a lot of people, that's like 30 pluses.
There you go. But it depends on who you're talking to.
I'd say it's for a higher minority of group of people would give her the 30 pluses than the group who would give her 15 minuses.
I mean, not in places that have, 29 or 34 electoral college votes. Not those places.
Fuck. Well, now we're getting into the electoral college system.
Oh my fucking God. I'm sorry. We're looking at CNN right now. This says Joe Biden to make a statement shortly. Now, earlier in CNN, they talked about this. MSNBC talked about this too, as well as on Fox News. When the presidential candidates speak, they always try to speak the night of the election. They try to pick. They don't speak early in the morning because nobody's awake. You don't want to speak too late at night. Nobody's there. You want to speak, but you're not going to claim victory.
Are you going to concede?
And you're not going to concede.
God, I hope one of them concedes. Because I hope a specific one concedes.
That's usually not what happens. But you see here an electoral college map here, an estimate of 205 electoral votes.
We can't
for Biden.
We can't show the CNN programming,
but I'm speaking it.
We can
and
translate it pretty well.
36 for Donald Trump. Let's see what we're seeing here.
So
we're seeing projected, both Texas and Florida up in the air. However, both Florida and Texas are probably going to go for Trump. However, it looks like Ohio is going to be going for Biden. Pennsylvania, which technically right now seems like it's up in the air, is most likely going to be hit with a final rush of Democratic votes and is going to go to Biden. One, because that's his home state. Two, because being in the upper east, in the upper north, east coast is definitely
northeast.
The northeast, east
That's
north.
usually just code for Jew.
Yeah, I know, right? So you see here, like, for example, they're showing a map here of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is all blue. That being said, there's a lot of rural area.
Which is weird, because usually I hear it's so sunny that time around there.
I can't even.
That's fucking stupid.
Look at Pittsburgh. So you got Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, which is blue, and Harrisburg, which is also heavily. They have a lot of what do they call them? HSBUs, historically black colleges or whatever. There's a bunch of them in Harrisburg. You see Scranton, which is where Biden is from.
That actually makes sense. Pennsylvania is one of the first abolitionist states.
Yes, they have a lot of them there.
Yeah.
I had a friend who went to one that was terrible. It was fucking terrible fucking school.
Really?
It was bad. Yeah. Scranton, which is where Biden is from. So Philadelphia definitely there's a lot of possibility of that going for him.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Biden's from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And there's really
and Delaware.
This much of a toss-up whether or not we're going to live the office for the next 4 years?
Oh my lord, I know.
Like, come on. We've had fucking... What's the dude? What's the... What's the...
You don't love The Office.
The salesman who's out,
Michael Scott?
No, the sales.
Oh, fuck. He was shitting in people's briefcases and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Hold on. Wait. Fuck.
No,
I know.
You know it.
Fuck. He's like half bald headed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
And
he actually got fired, and then they brought him back, and he was like a traveling salesman.
Exactly.
Fuck. I fucking know this. And the minute I look it up,
if anyone watches The Office, I know it's kind of an old show. It's practically a fossil at this age. But if anyone maybe has ever seen a show called The Office, please call us, because we're really stumped on who this particular person is.
I swear to fucking God, I'm looking it up and I don't.
It's the guy who's like best friends with Michael Scott.
Yes, but like he's not really, because remember he like shit in his floor.
Remember
he shat on his floor, and Michael was so upset the entire episode because he was like, "Who did this? Who did this?" And then it turned out that it was this guy, and then whatever the fuck, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's so funny."
I want to say Chris Traeger, but I know that's Parks
also,
and Rec.
Don't forget, what's his face? What's the guy from Fuck, I love this. This is like the world's worst fucking fuck you. This is what you get. This is what you get. You voted Trump in. This is what you fucking deserve. The guy from
Anchorman.
What's that show? Well, that too, but the guy from that show on Netflix about Santa Clarita Diet, the one who plays the dad, he's a traveling salesman also in that episode. Remember when he's like a better salesman? Oh, the episode where Meredith is like fucking trying to hire him, and she fucking goes into, and like they're spying on him from a little tiny room, and Meredith's like trying to hit on him, and then
all the girls are like super infatuated with him.
Yeah,
he's actually in the newest Mandalorian episode.
He is in the newest Mandalorian episode, and you know what's really funny? I watched that fucking episode, I looked at him, and I was like, he looks familiar, but who is he? Until you just fucking said that. Wow. I like we're both
so we're talking about like 3 different people.
Whatever the fuck.
But we all know.
Yes, okay, yeah, we know.
We're talking about.
Okay, so what was your point?
Trump is the...
I can't hear you.
Trump is the worst.
Trump is the worst.
That's what I'm getting at. Fucking... Todd Packer.
Oh my God. The Packer! The Pac-Man!
The Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he was fucking like mad misogynistic and sexist, and like Michael was like, yeah, he's so funny. Isn't Packer funny? Man. Yeah, he's like, oh man, you know, me and Packer, we came up together. We used to sit right there.
Yeah.
That is, and that's so funny because you look at Trump and the kind of things he says. I get it. I do get it. Like he speaks, and it's like, yo, it's a little refreshing that this person speaks their mind. He speaks his fucking mind, and that's.
But like, not everyone's mind is all that good to listen to.
Well, this is the thing. The argument kind of had with my mother, which is he's allowed to. For example, when he gets up there and Fauci comes up and says his piece, and Trump gets up there, Trump is allowed to say whatever he wants. And people being mad at that fact is people will get confused. I'm not supporting Trump, but I completely support his right to free speech. Because the only counter to hate speech and to bad speech is good speech, is free speech. Because if you allow people to instead to internalize their hatred, right? Then you don't know that they have hate. I'm not saying I want people going around lynching people. That's not what you want.
No, but you just want them talking stupid shit, so that way you...
Well, but don't forget though, it's not for them.
I suppose
you're not trying to convince them.
I suppose.
Oh boy.
If you hear someone's saying something that they're not entirely educated about, then you ought to swiftly correct them. And that's... You can't swiftly correct them unless they're saying the things. You know, who says ants can't ride sea-doos? You think you know everything about ants. You think you know everything about scientists who want to see ants ride sea-doos. Then, I think you ought to swiftly correct them. That's really what it comes down to. There shouldn't be any laws against hate speech, just as well as there shouldn't be any laws against swiftly correcting that hate speech.
But don't forget, you're not correcting it for the person who's spouting the hate speech, because most likely they're not going to change their mind.
It's not to change their mind. Sorry, continue.
No, continue. I'm curious what you're going to say.
It's not to change their mind. It's to help re-inform and to fix any misinformation.
I disagree.
No?
It's not for them. It's not for you.
Who's it for?
Creating an environment in which you are able to speak your mind allows you to counter bad ideas. People who witness this are educated. People who are around this, they now, for example, if somebody's online and they go, well, I think that all black people have big noses, right? And you search it up on the internet, you know. You know what? That's too specific. Let's say I don't know, the Holocaust isn't real, and you look it up, right? And you come up across articles about the Holocaust. Those articles don't just say the Holocaust happened. They tend to have sources, and they tend to have conversations between people, and they really communicate, and they're all about what happened during that time. You know what I mean? They go, man, 1945, man, they tried to go to Europe and all this stuff happened, but it's not just conjecture. You have to create an environment where information is present. Information about the other side isn't present. The other side is not allowed to speak. The other side has to be allowed to present information so that you can debunk it. Because it's not science. Because in science, 1 + 1 is 2. But in sociology, in real life, between humans, there is no 1 + 1.
True.
So you have to create an environment where that person says something wrong, so you can speak against it, and other people can look at that situation and go, I think that this person is spouting something that's terrible. I am uncertain about what's going to happen tonight. But as I see this 215 for Biden and this 136 for Donald Trump, I'll tell you this. I'm a little scared, but I'm confident in the people of America to see this. I'm confident the people of Texas. Maybe not everybody in Texas was educated enough, but I believe enough people in Texas were educated, and that enough people in Texas, while the state we might not get all their electoral college votes, those people, they learned a lot because they saw this man, and they learned a lesson. And the lesson isn't don't vote for TV stars. The lesson is just because somebody says something that sounds lies don't mean it's true.
That's powerful, but I can't share that sentiment.
Hit me with it.
You sound confident.
You got 10 minutes.
You sound like although you see these numbers coming in, they're ticking, you sound like you feel confident that people have learned their lesson.
Not everyone.
Not everyone. And it's not everyone's responsibility to learn a lesson or whatever. But I'm concerned. I'm seeing these numbers coming in, and I'm concerned that not enough people have taken the time to listen to others.
I mean, it's never enough. I don't disagree with you.
Like, I'm worried that we're looking at Texas right now as kind of a lighter shade of red because it hasn't been called yet.
But they tapped it, so that the numbers that you're seeing, that they're projecting, is them winning, but Trump is still behind. But it's closer than it's close, but Biden is still significantly ahead, technically, in kind of how it would work. So if you include it all, Trump would end up being at 230, and Biden would be like closer to 250.
I'm worried that the people who kind of fell into the scam the first time haven't listened to the people around him saying that it's a scam. Because that's really what I mean, aside from selling hatred and selling violence and selling like all that shit, really the Trump campaign has no promises. And it's a reverse funnel system where you put your money in at the top and it gets funneled into the top, but the bottom is the top. It's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid. Like, it doesn't... I'm worried that not enough people care enough to talk to others. That's what I'm trying to get at.
No, I feel that because you look online, you see a lot of people, like, they've lost a lot of family. I was talking to somebody about this earlier. You lose a lot of family and friends. They lose family and friends for two reasons. Because one of the sides is not listening to the other. Not really. They're disagreeing.
Or either side. That's the inverse of my concern. Is I'm concerned that the people who feel like they have a responsibility to vote against Trump didn't vocalize that responsibility to their maybe less. Excuse me, I got the hiccups.
That's beautiful. I love hearing that.
Didn't express that to the opposition, or yeah.
Well, I think
like yeah.
No, I'm just gonna say what?
I'm trying to think of words.
Think of the words.
But I'm also drunk, and so the words are like, no, we're not gonna come to.
Well, I mean, so like for example, right now Joe Biden is presenting a thing. He's talking about how it feels good. It feels good. It's like we've already won Arizona,
and it feels good. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that even if Trump wins,
feels good.
I think that Trump winning doesn't reflect really the values of America. See, I think that because of how the system can work sometimes, some voices can get drowned out, but I believe that things have changed.
Really?
Yeah. Biden right now is asserting about how he believes that they're going to win in Pennsylvania. 100%. Pennsylvania is definitely something that's super important.
Uh-huh.
I'm listening to it in my headphones right now as we're talking, so it's kind of difficult to do both at the same time, but fuck it, I'm doing it.
That's impressive, because I'm just trying to read it.
Oh, no, it's out of sync.
And it's...
So you can't watch the video because somebody's transcribing it as he's speaking, so his mouth is different than the words, and it's fucking confusing.
They said they ought to be able to call it for Minnesota, and I saw a dude with a Vikings mouth or face.
People are
face
good.
cover.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. The people who are...
And like I saw someone with a Minnesota Vikings face covering, and I don't think I've ever been more proud to be a Minnesota Vikings fan.
So check this out, right? Right. What we're going to do is we're going to do this, and we're going to post this on the internet.
Okay.
Right? And we're going to put it there and on Wednesday, November 4th. In the morning. In the morning. What we're going to have is this. This podcast is going to be out there in the world.
Just you, me, us.
People will be listening. And maybe by that time we'll know. And we're going to get together. We're going to get together again. On Thursday, right? Thursday? Yeah. We're going to get together. And we're gonna gab some more. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to figure it out.
Do you think we'll have like full... Should we get together Thursday, or should we get together once there's like complete election
Well, we
results?
have to do something for Friday.
I thought we already had something.
No, but so that one is, I think it's evergreen, but like it'd be random if we do something.
Maybe we should. Maybe one of us should come up with a little topic for us to talk about. Maybe the two of us can.
Well, it depends on who. It depends what happens. That's why we have to do more topical things. But can I say I was gonna say that Trump has apparently officially won Ohio.
What?
Which isn't, but
according to what?
According to, looks like NPR. I can only tell because it says 2020, but that's like the NPR logo, right? It's like a 2020 version of the NPR logo. Instead of it being boxes that say NPR, it says 2020. Battleground states, Democrats gained a seat in Colorado, but lost one in Alabama. We're gonna see. It's scary. So this is what we're gonna do, because we don't want this to be 80 hours like the last time we talked about politics. We're gonna keep this at an hour. Give me 3-4 minutes. Who do you think is gonna win? Give me a why, but don't fuck with me. Be real to yourself. Let's do it.
I think Biden and Kamala are gonna win because
Florida and Ohio.
I can't afford to put any other energy out into the world, into the universe.
I think you're religious. You believe in that? What's your sign? You're an Aries? Wow.
Yield.
You're such an Aries.
My sign is yield or school crossing. I think I want to believe Biden's going to pull this out so hard that I don't want to even like entice the thought or entertain the thought of otherwise. But we'll get back to this. Well, I think he's going to pull out. I think he's going to make the major states are going to fall in line. And I'm prepared.
You don't even have 2 minutes of it, huh?
What?
You don't even have 2 minutes of thought. You just...
No, man. I'm just a hope and a prayer and a bottle of whiskey.
Hopes and prayers?
Hopes and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. I already sent my vote. What else do I have to give?
You know what? Can I tell you something? I agree. I'm looking at this and, you know, I didn't think I cared so much, but really that was me just kind of telling myself that I didn't, to kind of hide from myself how much I do care.
Because you do care.
Yeah, but
there's only so much you can do.
And I don't want to be consumed. I don't want to be... The thing is, I've always cared. I just don't want to be consumed by this. But the reality is, I think...
It's a consumption world, though.
That Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to win. But I don't feel that way.
They ought to get the dub.
Yeah. So you know what you do?
What do you do?
Well, that's easy. You go on Facebook and go to Habit of Wellness. Or you go to Twitter to DA Art of Giving Up. Or you go to Instagram, C__honey. Yep. You go to... What's your website again? Your new website?
BumbleBearComedy.com.
BumbleBearComedy.com. Or you go to Twitch.com/Magnus_Wolfsbane. Like, it's Wolfsbane, because I don't fucking know.
Why don't you change your URL?
Because it's not for that. It's not really for this. But I'm just doing. I'm like, you know.
Gonna give me shit for not changing my.
Well, I can't do that. Twitch doesn't allow me to do that. That's not how Twitch works.
All right. Fine.
Yeah. So there you go. And you can reach out to us and communicate with us, because this is going up, and we're gonna talk, and
we just really want to know what your thoughts are in relation to our thoughts. And so we can consolidate those thoughts and create a larger singular consciousness.
But I just want everybody who's listening to know.
Yeah.
It's going to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank God. I mean, yeah. This was that in good taste. I'm Chandler Phillips.
And I'm, James B. I forgot to do that. Oh, yeah. Well, fuck it. They listen. Hopefully... yeah. Peace.